Y'all better sit down, put your phones on Do Not Disturb, and cancel that brunch reservation. Because what just happened in court today might be the wildest plot twist reality TV never scripted. Imagine faking a pregnancy so convincingly that you got a whole man, yes, a whole Scrappy, emotionally trapped, financially milked, and publicly humiliated, only to get exposed in front of a judge, a courtroom full of press, and a DA holding receipts like it's tax season. Oh, and just when you thought it couldn't get messier, Stevie J shows up like the messy king he is, waving the ultimate truth. Bomb. It was all a lie. Let that marinate. How does someone go from baby bump selfies to county jail in heels within one commercial break? How many lies does it take before even Mona Scott says, "Girl, you on your own"? And more importantly, was Bambi the mastermind or just another pawn in a VH1 reality scam that's now spiraling into criminal territory? This ain't Love and Hip Hop anymore. This is Law and Order, Reality Unit. And trust us, you're gonna want to watch this story unravel like a cheap lace front in a courtroom meltdown. Let's get into it. Let's rewind the chaos and take it from the top, because this ain't just some petty breakup drama. This is the type of scandal that makes tabloids combust and reality TV producers lose sleep. Picture this, the courtroom. Packed, cameras lurking outside like vultures, and tension so thick it could suffocate. Bambi walks in like she's stepping onto a reunion special, not a criminal hearing. Nails flawless, lips tight, outfit straight out of a sponsored post. But nothing, and we mean nothing, could prepare her or anyone else for the legal grenade that was about to drop. Because right there, in front of the judge, the prosecution slid forward a sealed exhibit, labeled simply as Exhibit G. And when that envelope cracked open, you could practically hear the oxygen leave the room. It was a sworn affidavit reportedly from none other than Stevie J himself, the man who's never seen a messy situation he couldn't make messier. And in this affidavit, Stevie didn't just spill tea. He poured an entire boiling kettle onto Bambi's perfectly curated brand. According to Stevie's sworn testimony, Bambi faked a pregnancy. Not just fibbed a little, not just stretched a timeline. No. He claimed she orchestrated an entire emotional and legal manipulation, complete with phony doctor visits, staged ultrasound appointments, and crocodile tears meant to trap Scrappy into submission and squeeze out child support like a lemon. Now here's where it gets diabolical. Stevie claims he was dragged into it, not by accident, but by design. His exact words, per court records, were, "She knew Scrappy was getting suspicious, and she told me straight up, 'You owe me. Help me keep this together, or I'll make sure people start asking who that baby really belongs to.'" And if that quote didn't make your jaw hit the floor, just wait, because this twisted saga is only getting started. The DA backed up this claim with a secret audio recording pulled from a burner phone seized during an unrelated investigation. In that recording, Bambi's voice can allegedly be heard saying, "We both win if Scrappy believes this. I get security. You get leverage. Let's not mess this up." And the court, stunned into silence, played every last second of that audio. The reaction in the courtroom was a mix of disbelief, horror, and the kind of awkward silence you only get when someone gets caught mid-lie on live television. Scrappy? He didn't move, didn't blink. Man looked like his soul left the building 10 minutes before the trial started. And that was just day one. Now let's talk motive, because you can't just fake a pregnancy for giggles and Instagram likes. According to the prosecution's timeline, Bambi launched this plan the moment she sensed Scrappy slipping through her fingers. Rumors had been flying about his late-night studio sessions, shady DMs, and weekend disappearances. And rather than confront the elephant in the room, Bambi allegedly chose to build a zoo instead, one where she was the zookeeper and Scrappy the caged wallet. But what's even more shocking is how long this con went on. Fake doctor notes were submitted to production. VH1 staff were allegedly briefed on pregnancy scenes. One anonymous crew member even said, "I remember her asking us to adjust the lighting to make her stomach look rounder. We didn't question it. Who would fake a baby on camera?" Apparently, Bambi would. And the twist? Sources now claim Mona Scott Young herself may have known something was fishy but didn't intervene because, let's face it, fake pregnancies get real ratings. And now the legal dominoes are toppling. VH1 is under scrutiny. Producers are lawyered up. the judge has requested a full investigation into whether the show was used as a cover for real-world fraud. Let that sink in. Reality TV turning into actual legal drama. You couldn't script it better if you tried. Meanwhile, fans on Twitter are losing their collective minds. One tweet read, "Bambi played us all like a fiddle and VH1 handed her the sheet music." Another said, "Imagine faking a pregnancy in HD with confessionals and commercial breaks." But perhaps the most savage reaction came from someone who posted a side-by-side comparison of Bambi's alleged baby bump in one scene and her flat stomach at a rooftop party days later. The caption, "Plot hole you could drive a truck through." The internet has become a forensic lab, dissecting every episode, every post, every story highlight. Suddenly, Bambi's baby shower pics look like they were shot on a green screen. Every past interview, every staged moment now feels like part of a long con. And yet in court, Bambi sat there, stoic, unreadable, like she'd already rehearsed this scene 100 times in her head. But even the best actresses forget their lines when the feds walk in. And that's exactly what happened. Because as the judge leaned back, reviewing the evidence, the courtroom doors opened and two agents from the fraud division stepped in, one carrying a laptop, the other holding a folder stamped confidential. The laptop was plugged in, screen shared on the courtroom monitor, and boom, a video began to play. Security cam footage, dated and time-stamped. A woman in Stevie J's Miami condo, visibly pregnant, crying into her hands. Only one problem. It wasn't Bambi. It wasn't Scrappy. It was someone the court hadn't seen before. A mystery woman. The implication? Bambi had either lifted footage to fake her pregnancy story, or worse, tried to pass someone else's pregnancy off as her own. The courtroom gasped. The judge adjusted his glasses. And Stevie J? He leaned back with the kind of smirk that says, "I warned y'all." That's exactly where part one ends. And what comes next? Well, let's just say the dominoes are about to fall even harder, and the lies are about to get louder. Before the shock could even settle, Judge Monroe gave a small nod, and the courtroom doors creaked open again. This time, the DA's lead investigator took the stand with a hard drive in hand like it was the final infinity stone, ready to snap. Careers out of existence. And when they hit play, the room got real quiet, real fast. On the speakers came a voice, calm, venomous, and unmistakably Bambi's. "I told him I was pregnant so he'd shut up," she said, her tone like silk hiding a dagger. "He threatened to cut me off. I needed time. I needed cash. I knew a baby would break him down fast." You could practically hear the gasps choke their way down people's throats. Scrappy didn't flinch. No outburst, no meltdown. He just stared dead ahead like his whole world had collapsed in slow motion. But it wasn't over. The second file on that drive? Bambi's so-called bestie whispering, "You going to drag this? Lie forever? What if they demand proof?" And Bambi's response? Cold, calculated. "They won't. Scrappy's weak. He craves a family. This lie is my safety net." The judge leaned forward like he was watching the season finale of a crime. Series no one saw coming. Stevie J? Man was damn near reclining like he was watching karma dance barefoot on his enemies. At that moment, Judge Monroe slammed the gavel down. "This court finds cause for obstruction, fraud, and sustained perjury," he declared. "The defendant will remain in custody as a full probe begins." Bambi's lawyer scrambled, muttering something about emotional stress, being fragile, scared of losing love. But Judge Monroe wasn't buying it. "You didn't just lie," he snapped. "You weaponized motherhood to manipulate the law. That's not drama. That's criminal." Cue another gavel hit. Reporters exploded out of the courtroom like roaches seeing sunlight. TMZ didn't even wait for the closing statement. TikTok was already 600 edits deep before Bambi was escorted in cuffs. The arrest clip leaked in record time, Bambi screaming as she was dragged out. "I didn't mean to hurt him. I just didn't want to lose him." Even her haters paused for a second. Just one. Erica Dixon, Scrappy's ex, dropped a tweet so petty it lit up timelines. "God doesn't miss addresses, not even luxury condos." Deleted in minutes, screenshot in seconds. Rashida Frost couldn't help herself either. She went live from her boutique sipping tea like it was the damn Super Bowl. Some folks forget TV is fake. she said. But courtrooms? That's as real as it gets. Bar delivered, loud and clear. As the dust settled, VH1 was in full crisis mode. Mona. Scott Young allegedly had emergency meetings stacked back to back trying to contain the flames. Word on the street? Bambi's been iced out of every future storyline, scene, cameo, reunion special, you name it. Advertisers were bailing faster than rats from a sinking ship. And then came the online sleuths, full-blown CSI Twitter activated. Every old Love and Hip Hop episode, every tear, every bump photo, now under forensic scrutiny. One clip that went viral overnight? Bambi hugging her belly during a heartfelt confessional. The same week, she's at a Miami rooftop party tossing back cocktails like it's New Year's Eve. And the captions said it all. The math ain't mathing. But it wasn't just internet detectives and fan edits blowing up. Petitions were circulating now, real ones, demanding networks stop rewarding fake pregnancies with screen time and spin-off deals. Over 50,000 signatures and counting. Fans were done. Done being manipulated, done crying over scenes that were scripted lies, and yet, through all the noise, Scrappy, he didn't tweet, didn't drag her, didn't even show up to the press scrum. He just walked out of that courtroom with Mama D beside him and a folded piece of paper clenched so tight it looked like it was part of him. Some say it was the court transcript, her own words in black and white. Others say it was custody papers, a fresh start. But the one rumor that hit the hardest? A handwritten letter to his daughter, explaining everything. Unfiltered, no reality TV edits, just raw, painful truth. Maybe the cameras didn't catch it, maybe they never will. But the silence? That told a whole story of its own. Meanwhile, Stevie J was playing the villain like he was born for it. His camp posted a shady Instagram story. Never test a legend, especially not with a fake baby. Petty? Absolutely. But also, kind of iconic. Podcasts exploded. YouTubers fired up. Emergency live streams. Did Bambi con the world? One host yelled, practically frothing at the mic. Another said, she used fake pregnancy like a Black Friday coupon, and the court just canceled her subscription. Everywhere you looked, people were picking sides. Team Scrappy, Team Bambi, Team Nobody. And just when you thought the last twist had been dropped, a rogue insider leaked the raw security footage again. This time, zoomed in on the woman in Stevie J's condo. Viewers caught something the court missed, a wrist tattoo. And within hours, internet detectives matched it to a background extra from a previous VH1 shoot. Cue even more conspiracy theories. Was this woman paid to act pregnant? Was Stevie covering his own tracks by throwing Bambi under the bus? Who was really running the con here? It wasn't just a courtroom battle anymore. This was war, with reputations, contracts, and careers on the line. And somewhere in the background, Mona Scott Young reportedly started calling her lawyers. Why? Because a whisper turned into a roar. There might be a second recording, one that doesn't just burn Bambi, it nukes a VH1 producer's whole career. Allegedly, this producer knew Bambi's storyline was fake and told her to milk it for one more season. If that tape exists, if that quote leaks, VH1's empire could crumble faster than a fake sonogram photo. But here's the kicker. Even as everything collapses, Bambi hasn't said a word. No post, no statement, no apology. Her Instagram, silent. Her PR team, MIA. The silence is loud. The fallout is loud. But the truth? That's just getting started. And the question burning in everyone's mind, how deep does this rabbit hole go? Because if part 2 proved anything, it's that this wasn't some messy breakup. This was a full-blown takedown. So as the courtroom buzz faded into online chaos, fans and foes alike braced for impact. Because if the rumors were true, that second tape would flip this scandal into full-blown network warfare. A source from the editing room, yes, a whole reality TV mole, spilled tea so piping hot it could melt legal contracts. Apparently, Bambi wasn't the only one playing puppet master. A senior VH1 producer had allegedly encouraged the storyline, whispered in her ear like some devil on her shoulder, "This pregnancy angle will save your check." And just like that, a personal lie became national television content. But Karma? She's punctual. Whispers of this producer's voice being caught on a behind-the-scenes clip spread like wildfire. Viewers weren't just replaying old episodes now, they were analyzing lighting, set angles, sound cues. One user even slowed down a behind-the-scenes Instagram live from last season and claimed to hear someone off-camera say, "Just rub the bump, girl. You're good." It wasn't just scandal. It was fraud dressed up in designer heels and filtered Instagram reels. Now Mona Scott Young, usually the puppet master of chaos, was suddenly on the defensive. Her empire, her brand, her advertisers, dangling by a thread. Some insiders claimed she'd already fired the producer in question, tried to sweep the mess before the tape drops. But the internet never forgets, and neither do betrayed fans. Meanwhile, Scrappy's legal team went into overdrive. They weren't just pursuing custody, they were demanding damages. Court filings hinted at psychological distress, career sabotage, defamation. And yes, that mysterious folded paper Scrappy walked out with? Sources now say it was a draft of a personal affidavit, laying out everything, from the day he believed he'd be a father again to the moment he realized he'd been played like a pawn on a producer's storyboard. But don't let the silence fool you. Scrappy's been moving like a chess master in the shadows. Behind-the-scenes deals with other networks, a potential memoir, even talks of an exclusive sit-down interview with a major streaming platform. One rep called it the redemption of the century. And just when everyone thought the internet had peaked, another video leaked. Not court footage, not reality TV. No, this one was raw. A personal voice memo allegedly from Stevie J, sent to one of his producers in a voice note frenzy. His words: "I told y'all she was gonna crash this whole damn show." That clip alone caused VH1 stock partners to schedule emergency calls. But it didn't stop there. Fans were now targeting brands that partnered with the show. Emails, tweets, boycott campaigns. A whole Instagram account called Fake Bumps Real Damage gained 200K followers in 3 days. Their message? Stop rewarding fake trauma with real money. And the merch? Flying. But let's not act like Bambi was the only one catching heat, because now Stevie J's past messes were bubbling up again. Old footage resurfaced of him smirking during past interviews, brushing off accusations with that signature smirk that says, "I know something you don't." Fans started asking, did Stevie know the whole time? Was he in on it from jump? Or was this his revenge plot against Bambi for a feud we never saw aired? Meanwhile, Bambi's camp went into radio silence. No bail attempts, no publicist statements, just the eerie quiet of someone who knows the walls are closing in. And then came the fans who turned detectives into prosecutors. They started comparing Bambi's timelines, her photo uploads, GPS-tagged posts, receipts from events. One thread, 20,000 reposts deep, laid out an entire timeline showing she couldn't have been pregnant when she claimed. Another theory? That she wore a silicone belly on set and accidentally showed the seam during one hugging scene. Viewers clipped it, zoomed in, slowed it down, circled it in red. The caption? CSI VH1 edition. And let's not ignore the court of public opinion. It went from sympathy to suspicion to full-on fury. Memes popped up comparing Bambi to daytime soap villains. One even dubbed her the bold and the bumpless. And Scrappy? Quiet as ever, but his silence? Deafening. Fans begged him to speak, to react, to drop a verse or a diss track. But all he posted was a single quote: "Peace is priceless." And the comments exploded. Bars. King energy. Let her drown in the lie, don't swim in it with her. But you know who wasn't quiet? Mama D. Oh, she went live. In her living room, tiara and all, sipping wine like the queen of messy revelations. See, baby? When you lay down with deception, don't cry when it gets up and walks out with your credibility. And honestly, that might have been the most iconic line of the week. Meanwhile, VH1 quietly wiped Bambi's profile from their official site. Reunion specials? Cancelled. Merch lines? Paused. Streaming platforms started slapping disclaimers on old episodes. Some storylines may include dramatized content. Translation: yeah, this was faker than a rented Birkin at Fashion Week, but we weren't done. The legal system wasn't done. A federal fraud investigation was reportedly opened after a formal complaint was filed, claiming Bambi and production committed entertainment fraud by manipulating real court proceedings for scripted drama. If this gets traction, it's no longer about baby bumps and heartbreak. It's about networks knowingly airing lies that damage real lives. And if proven, fines could stretch into the millions. One legal analyst even joked, Bambi might have been trying to fake a pregnancy, but now she's looking at delivering charges instead. And don't think this ends with Bambi. Because now every VH1 cast member is sweating. Viewers want receipts. Fans are demanding lie detector specials, DNA test spin-offs, even background checks before anyone gets another confessional. Trust has shattered. Audiences are done being duped. And the final blow? A third-party whistleblower dropped an anonymous post saying they were hired to fabricate baby shower photos, props, bump molds, even hired actors to play family. If proven, this could be the biggest reality scandal since The Hills exposed itself. And just when it felt like it couldn't. Get worse, another court date was scheduled. This time not just for Bambi, but for an emergency media ethics hearing tied directly to the show's producers. So now we ask, was this all just one woman lying to save her crumbling relationship? Or a network-backed deception so large it deserves its own documentary? Should Bambi take the fall alone? Or should VH1 and its power players be held accountable for turning fake pain into real ratings? Either way, this saga has crossed the line. From TV drama to federal courtroom, from gossip to indictment. And the cameras? Oh, they're still rolling, only now they're pointed at everyone. And you best believe someone's going to jail for this. Not just metaphorically, but with real bars and an orange jumpsuit to match. Because in the end, the truth might take its sweet time. But when it shows up, it shows out. And in this case, it came dressed in subpoenas, screen grabs, and sealed exhibits that cracked the whole illusion wide open. So now that the wigs have flown, the lies are exposed, and the courtroom echoes are still shaking the internet, what do you believe? Was Bambi the solo mastermind of this pregnancy plot twist? Or was she just another pawn on Mona Scott's gloriously messy chessboard? Did Stevie J really try to expose her out of moral obligation? Or was it just revenge served cold with a side of clout? And let's not forget Scrappy. Should he get a standing ovation for keeping it classy in the middle of a televised circus? Or was he too quiet for too long? Was he blindsided or just blind? Here's the million-dollar question. If networks are out here scripting lies that spill into real courtrooms and wreck real lives, who should be paying the price? The cast? The producers? Or the whole reality TV machine built on fake tears and rented drama? We need to hear from you. Drop your wildest theory in the comments. Who's really pulling the strings? Hit that like button if you think Bambi's lie came with interest. Smash subscribe because, trust me, this meltdown isn't over. There are more tapes, more leaks, and yep, more handcuffs coming. And if you're still sitting there stunned, wondering how reality TV turned into a federal indictment, you're not alone. Stay tuned, stay messy, and stay watching. Because the next scandal we uncover might just make this one look like a rehearsal. Buckle up. Reality's about to get even more unreal.